morning. Good morning. Got a lot of things to cover today in this video, but I have so many different things to talk about, but they're all together not enough to make a whole video on. So I decided, I'm just going to do my attempt at vlogging here and kind of see where it goes and cover all these different topics that I wanted to cover all in one video and show you around what I do day to day, which won't be anything exciting. So prepare yourself to be totally bored about what I do day to day, just like every other individual out there, more than likely. But we'll talk about a few things. So the first thing I want to talk about is the ZV-1. Freaking love this camera. I put the wide angle adapter on here and it fell off. And it left this sticky ring around my camera lens. So got that going on, and to tell you the truth, I'm not going to put it back on there. If it's just going to fall off continually and leave this big sticky mess around my lens, I'm not going to put it back on there. It's not worth the hassle to me, and it could damage your camera, the motors in the camera, and I'm not really particularly liking that a whole bunch. Now I know I can take the lens off every time, and they tell you to take the lens off every time and hold it down when you deploy the lens and all this stuff, but by the time you do all that, it really defeats the purpose of the ZV-1. I might as well just go ahead and get like a ZV-E10 or something, or something a little bit bigger if I mess with all that, just to do get a wide angle lens on there. So I'm just going to clean all this goop off, go without the wide angle lens adapter, and use the camera as intended. And I kind of like it that way anyway. Another thing to talk about real fast is got this. Ooh, fancy, right? It is a MacBook Pro 14-inch, the brand new one. I was so excited to get it. Now, one thing when I got this computer I was super excited about was Catalyst Browse. I was like, man, hopefully it'll speed up Catalyst Browse. I don't know if it's a new Monterey operating system. They haven't been able to get everything working together with Catalyst Browse yet, or I don't know what the problem is, but can't use Catalyst Browse with it. Hopefully, I was hoping that it would speed up that program. This computer would run that program really, really fast so I could depend on it for stabilization. But it didn't work. Anyway, on to the next thing. Never guess what this is. This is financial reports. Yes, so exciting. So let's talk about the A7R4 and file sizes. Like when I was watching all the reviews for the A7R4, everybody talked about the increased file size, and I really didn't know what that meant or how it really pertained. So I was like, the A7R4 will be fine. I mean, I really don't take that many pictures. I mean, what's file size? I can just buy more storage. Storage is pretty cheap. No big deal, no problem. So about the A7R4. I've been doing some photo shoots lately. And the other day I went on a photo shoot with a mother and a 9-month-old. And she wanted some pictures, of her 9-month-old and her. And I thought, man, that sounds like fun. It was fun. We had a lot of fun doing it. I wrote some footage of us doing that. So in my camera bag, I have the A7R4 and the A7S III, and we set up the first location, and I grabbed the A7S III. I've never filmed that. I never done a photo shoot of a 9-month-old. I had no idea what to expect or anything like that. From the very first spot that we set up, I knew that the A7S III was going to be the camera that I was going to use, and the reason why is because, when you shoot a 9-month-old. You have to have a helper, and I did have a helper that day, and she came up with, mess with the kid and have it smile then back up. And then when she was backing up, I was just letting the camera run in burst mode. So because I had to do that, there's just no way. I wound up taking, let's see, 1,200 pictures that day. 1,200 pictures. And if I would have been using the A7R4, and I was shooting uncompressed RAW and then JPEGs and whatever I do. And if I'd have shot that particular photo shoot in the A7R4, I'd have run out of card space in no time. File size does matter. And just for comparison between the two cameras, I did like I say, I did this photo shoot with this mother and daughter, and I also did my daughter's senior pictures, and I'll show pictures of all those as I'm talking along here. So the first shoot, I went out and shot my daughter's senior pictures, and with that, I used the A7R4, uncompressed RAW, JPEG. I shot 500 pictures at that photo shoot, and I used 129 gigs of storage on my memory cards. So, but just for comparison, when I did the photo shoot with the mother and 9-month-old, I had to wind up taking 1,200 pictures. 1,200 pictures. A 9-month-old, you're just trying to catch that perfect moment, so you're just, letting the camera run. And 1,200 pictures, 42 gigabytes. 42 gigabytes. RAW and JPEG. So file size does matter, and in those situations where you think you're going to need to take a whole bunch of shots, it's helpful to have something a little bit smaller file size. A7R4 is great if you're going to take just a few shots, but when you want to take a massive amount, you're going to run out of storage real quick. It's going to put it's going to take forever to download all that stuff into the computer, and if you're thinking about uploading it to some kind of cloud service where everybody can look at the pictures, it's going to take forever. Well, I just got done playing golf. Being my old boss, sometimes it affords me to play golf in the middle of the afternoon, which is okay. Maybe about once a week or so, whenever I got enough staff in. It's a slower day. I get to go play a little golf. Play like total junk. I don't think there could be a more fruitless activity than playing golf, really. Anyway, back to the office. So, finally made it back to work. Just sitting out here, this little pavilion they have. I guarantee you, nobody comes out here ever. Now that I'm filming, there'll be 15 people walk by. That's how it usually goes. But last thing I want to talk about a little bit is the A7 IV, which I have on pre-order. And I don't know if I'm quite sold on actually going through with that pre-order or not. I'll tell you why. I have the A7R4, and it's a great camera. And the only thing that I could really think about that I would actually want on the A7R4 is a flip screen. And if I go to sell it, I want to take a pretty big bath on it. If I go to sell an A7R4, I'm going to take a pretty huge hit on it. But I was going to sell that, the A7R4 and the A7 III, which I sold just recently, and use both of the proceeds of those two cameras to fund the A7 IV. But I got to thinking, well, I could just take what I got out of the A7 III and use some of those funds to buy some other gear that I think the channel needs. And as far as the A7R4 goes, the main thing that I want out of it is a flip screen. And I think I can get a little monitor for about $125. And I can also buy maybe that Sony microphone. Everybody seems like you don't have to have any kind of you don't have to plug it in or anything. It seems to be really good, and since I'm heavy into Sony, I think it'd be a plus to have that in my bag. So anyway, that's what I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about just holding off on the A7 IV, maybe it's a little bit later, using the proceeds that I bought with the A7 III, and purchasing some other things that I think that I may need to make better content. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. Appreciate you watching. It's just a regular old day for me. Gone over a lot of topics that I had lined out but just don't really deserve their own video. And if you've enjoyed it, leave a like. We'll see you on the next one. And headed home. Beautiful Oklahoma sunset. Already dark outside thanks to the daylight savings time. Don't understand why that's a thing. Pretty sunset though.